Hey guys, it is me again. Today is Monday, February the 4th. Makes it day 35, I think, on our Daily Bread Project 2013. Yeah, guys, as you can tell, I've not printed out a new Julian calendar yet. I'm going to try to remember to do it tonight while this is uploading. That way I don't have to guess on what day it is anymore. But anyway, guys, it is good to be here. I'm going to have to try to make this a little short tonight. Yeah, my mind went blank. That don't happen very often. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah, I just gotta try to hurry, guys. I gotta try to get in the bed. Um, so, uh, not much going on, as far as nothing new is what I mean. Um, Warmed up here some today, and a lot of the snow melted off. Got up in the 40s. I thought they was supposed to be higher up in the 40s tomorrow, like close to 50. But then I heard something this evening about they were giving rain for tonight or something, and maybe a wintry mix. And I know every county around here has called school off for tomorrow, and evidently they're counting on us getting something anyway. So I don't see hardly if it's going to be up close to 50 tomorrow how it can give any kind of wintry mixes. But what do I know? Anyway, what else? Just normal stuff, guys. You know. Uh, Show y'all just a little bit of the project I've been working on here. No, you can't tell a whole lot of it. You can't tell nothing about that, but there's a YouTuber, and I can't never remember his whole uh, channel name. I'm trying to find me something to hold this with, guys, and I don't want to it's a receipt, and I was wanting to make sure that it wasn't a receipt from something I needed. Anyway, his name is Halligan. It's got some numbers after his name. I can't remember. But anyway, he does some lathe stuff, and he made a spring-loaded tap follower to help you when you're tapping, and that's what this is. Comes apart. You can see. There's the end of it. I took a piece of this off. The big metal here, the half-inch metal, is a 41L40 steel. Same as 4140, but with a little lead in it. Makes it easier to machine. So anyway, it's just a regular bar, and I turned it down to the dimension. I actually turned it down a little bit under 500 thousandths. Drilled a hole through it. Drilled a hole in both pieces, drilled a bigger hole, a hole that's 272 thousandths in diameter in this end, and threaded it, because that's what you got to have for a 5/16 24 tap. I used a number I think, letter drill. And then the hole going through this piece that the rod actually slips through, it's 3/16 in diameter. So anyway, reason I'm trying to handle it with this and stuff, I think I'm going to give this one to my friend that runs a gun store. I'm going to make me another one. And anyway, this metal machines easily, but it's not the prettiest. At least I've not figured out how to get it pretty. I guess some guys that really know what they're doing. I don't know if it's where I'm turning it with carbide, carbide bits. It may be better to use high-speed steel. I don't have any high-speed steel bits. All I've got is carbide. I thought at first maybe I was turning it too slow, but I've tried it everywhere from, going by my formulas, it shows to cut it at like 400 RPM or 500. I've cut it at 300. I've cut it up to 600. Everywhere in that range, 300, 400, 500, 600. And it doesn't, I've slowed the feed rate down, the speed at which the bit moves across it. I've slowed it down. I've sped it up. I've done everything I know to do. I turned my bit around, my carbide bit, thinking it was dull. I mean, it's not horrible looking, but it don't look as good as near as good as I thought it would. So anyway, I've sanded it, I filed it, I polished it with flits trying to get it smooth. And I actually, well, you can see that kind of grayish finish on it. That is actually gum blue. I've actually got some cold gum blue in here, and I said, you know what, that'll give it a good, uh, protective coating to keep it from rusting. And I just thought it looked better blued. So anyway, and that's the reason I had to handle it like that, is because it's got oil on it. When you get done bluing something, when you get it to the darkness that you want, you have to put some kind of oil on it and let it set overnight. So I rubbed it down with some 3-in-1 oil. That's what I usually use. And I'm letting it, of course, sit there. So anyway, I'm going to make mine out of 12L14 steel, which is another leaded steel. Anytime you see L in the letters or numbers of steel, that means it's got a little bit of lead in it. Which makes it good, easy to machine. You can't weld it. You can't weld anything that's got lead in it. But anyway, I'm thinking the 12L14 is going to machine prettier too. It's not as strong as the 41L40, about 25,000 pounds in yield strength, I think is what they go by on that. I don't remember if it's yield strength or tensile strength. Yield strength, I think. But anyway, but I think it's going to machine a little prettier. For something like that, you don't need super strong. But anyway, I think I'm going to give my friend that. One more little quick thing on it. This piece right here, the rod part, I think most of you guys will appreciate this. This is called W1 tool steel. And that W means it's water hardenable, which means you can harden it in water. They make air hardened, water hardenable, oil hardenable. So anyway, I got to digging on the internet, finding out if I could harden that myself. And of course that Halligan did it, and I found some other instances of that, something small like that. But it pretty much just said bring it to orange, look like a cooked carrot. Bring it to orange, keep it there 15-20 seconds, and just dunk it in water. And that's pretty much how you harden it, something that small. So I used a MAP gas torch, got it to orange, dunked it in water. So that pretty much hardened it. But once you do that, it makes it so hard that it's brittle. And you don't want to be sitting there using it on something, pushing on something, and it bust and splinter and cut your hand or whatever. So you've got to temper it. You've got to kind of bring a little bit of that hardness back out of it, so it'll still be a little bit flexible. So like I said, it's a good thing I got on the internet, got to do a little research. He said basically what you did after you water hardened it, take you a piece of sandpaper or Scotch-Brite or something and just get the color back off of it, because of course it'll turn blue looking after it cools. You get the blue and purple and all that off of it back to silver, and then you just take your torch and real slowly heat it again until you get a straw looking color, kind of a gold, as soon as it just starts turning gold. So I did that, and as soon as it started turning gold, I went through gold and it just started turning just a little tinge blue. But they say that that's good enough, as long as you don't get it back orange. So as soon as it went through straw and just started turning blue, I got off of it, dumped it in the water again. So, and you can actually tell a difference in it because I hardened about that much of it. You just no use hardening the back part because it's never going to touch anything. And you can take a file and rake across that back part, and even though it's tool steel and it's already hard, it's hard to cut, but you can cut it a little. You can run it against the front part where I hardened it, and it's a different sound. It's higher pitched. And the file don't even, it just runs across it. It don't even try to cut it. So anyway, I thought that was pretty neat. Like I said, guys, I guess I kind of flipped it out about me talking about I got to make it quick. But when I mean quick, it can't be a 20-minute video. I didn't want to jibber jabber so much, guys, but this stuff I think is interesting. Now I have this all done, except for hardening that piece. That's all I had to do, hardening the piece, and then I, of course, blued it this evening. But the rest of it I already had done. I can tell that my machining skills are getting better because this took me 2 evenings to make, and this evening I said, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start on me one. So all I did is cut the rough blanks out, and then the big part there I already drilled it and tapped it. But still that's half done or better, and I did it in like 30 minutes or less. Whereas as it took me, you just get more comfortable with that stuff, and it gets easier. But anyway, I really like doing it, guys. Sometime I may try to get you a vid of it. I'd really like to have me a bigger lathe. I'd like to have a better lathe, you know, something. One problem I'm having, and some of you smart guys might be able to help me on this, and I'll be quick. Um, when I got to turn something small diameter like this, you know, like 3/16, this actually started out 5/16 in diameter. I had to turn it down to 3/16, and I had to leave the back there, the back portion, 270 thousandths, 272, 275. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, I've got it supported in my chuck, and then on the other end, you have to support it in your tailstock because there's no way you can turn something that small sticking out in the air with nothing supporting it. You just can't even do it. You can actually run the bit into it, and you can watch it bend. But even running it into the tailstock, to where I thought it was secure, when I would get done turning from one end down to the other, the end towards the chuck would be about 4 thousandths, 3 or 4 thousandths of an inch smaller than the other end. And I've kind of mentioned to you guys that once before, but some of that plastic I was turning was doing that. I've checked the lathe. The lathe is dead straight. As a matter of fact, I just put a test bar in it a while ago and checked it again. Right, over the course of a foot, it's less than 1/2 of an inch. So I mean, I know that's not the problem. Down there on that end where it's not supported good, it's trying to push away from the bit a little bit. So the more it pushes away from the bit, it don't cut as much. I know that's why it's tapering, but I can't figure out how to resolve the problem. You know, the Halligan guy, watched him. We pretty much set ours up the same way. You know, we took a piece of stock, drilled a hole in it, a taper hole, went ahead and turned this 60-degree taper on this, stuck this in the taper hole in the piece of stock, in the tailstock. So, you know, you're sitting there holding it like this, and then this other end back here you can't see is in the chuck. We did ours pretty much the same, but mine tapered and his didn't. So, you know, I don't know how to overcome that. But anyway, I'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, I ended up straightening that up with a file. To be honest about it, that's how I fixed it. After on the end where it was thicker, I just took the file and kept, you know, from like halfway out, the part that was too big, kept filing on it till I got it down to a uniform diameter. So it took a few minutes, but it worked. So anyway, guys, one more thing I was going to ask you all. Does it hurt to have, some of you computer guys, does it hurt to have 2 or more antiviruses on a computer? I have heard both camps. I've heard some people say yes, they fight against each other. I've heard some people say it doesn't matter. So now like on my computer over here, guys, it has got Avast on it, and it's still got the McAfee that came on it. Now the McAfee, even though it's ran out, it's still updating and everything, and I think it's still up to date. So do you guys think, I think that computer has got a virus on it, and I have run Malwarebytes, I have run anti-spyware, I have run IOBIT, Advanced System Care, which that does pretty good, and I know those are not antiviruses, but I've run all of them on it. They can't find anything. I've run my Avast on it, I've run McAfee on it, I've run everything I know on it, and nothing will find it, and I know there's something wrong with it, just like this computer. So I was wondering if those 2 antiviruses are maybe fighting against each other. Do I need to delete that McAfee? To be honest, I was thinking about deleting the McAfee and the Avast both and downloading AGV or AVG, whichever one it is. I get that and the helmet manufacturer mixed up. Anyway, you know, I used to use the AGV or AVG, whichever one it is, AVG, I guess. I had good luck out of it. Everybody brags on Avast, but I don't think I've ever had Avast find a virus on a computer that I've had, and I know they've had viruses, so I'm not too tickled with it so far. Anyway, guys, I've had it blocked quite a few. I've went to places and it pop up and say, you know, we've just blocked a malicious attack and blah, 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 blah. But anyway, guys, I got to get going to keep this thing from being under 20 minutes. I just, like I've said before, some of you, and you know, some of you guys that just tune in here for the scripture reading, you know, you may not like it when I get to jibber jabbering like this, but guys, you know, you're my outlet. You know, I don't have a wife, I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have somebody I can talk to every day to just, you know, tell them things that I'm doing. You know, yeah, mom and dad live here with me and everything, but they're kind of in their own little deal, and you know, it's just, you know, it feels good to get to tell people stuff. It feels good to get to tell people your frustrations and your you know, everything. You know, just your worries and your problems. And so if I get a little bit long-winded, some guys, that's that's the way it is. Well, I mean, that's why it is. So anyway, guys, Revelation chapter 7, verse 16. Here we go. I can get my throat straightened up. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more. The sun shall not strike them, nor any scorching heat. For the Lamb in the midst of the throne will be their shepherd, and he will guide them to springs of living water, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. That's verse 17. We'll go ahead and go to chapter 8, verse 1. It says, when the Lamb opened the seventh seal, there was a silence in heaven for about half an hour. Then I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and 7 trumpets were given to them. And another angel came and stood at the altar with a golden censer, and he was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, and the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints rose before God from the hand of the angel. Then the angel took the censer and filled it with fire from the altar and threw it on the earth. And there were peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. Now the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared to blow them. The first angel blew his trumpet, and there followed hail, excuse me guys, my throat's getting me, and fire mixed with blood, and these were thrown upon the earth. And a third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. The second angel blew his trumpet, and something like a great mountain, burning with fire, was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood. Guys, that's where we're going to stop. I know we're getting into some mighty interesting stuff. It's hard to find any place to stop, but that makes 10 verses. So, guys, I'd really appreciate y'all being here tonight. I got to get off here. I had some stuff come up, guys, this evening before I got into this other stuff. Kind of got me in here doing this other stuff later. So I'm going to try either while this is uploading to answer comments for last night's video. That's what I'll probably do, but I'm just going to let you guys know that I'm going to get on that better. So I love you all. Thanks for being here. As always, keep praying for us. Keep praying for the church. Keep praying for us all. You know, we all need prayer. We got to keep praying with each other. We got to stand with each other, you know, instead of, you know, being so hateful and unforgiving and fighting against each other, you know. So let's pray for each other, guys. We all need it. So like I said, good Lord willing, I'll be here tomorrow night. Until I see you guys again, good night, and God bless.